Hello there, this is Mycelial, and I want to show you something very interesting. One of the most important things when you're culturing, growing mushroom at home is how I save money, because sometimes it's just cheaper to go to the grocery store, buy the mushrooms, or local farm, etc. But if you decided to grow it at home, to get all the benefits, to make pills, to eat, etc., teas, tinctures, you need to make sure that what you're doing it correctly, but at the same time you're saving some money. So when you buy the mycelia, you want to keep that culture alive. If you keep going from one plate to the other, eventually that mycelia will lose the ability to produce the actual mushroom. So what we like to do is to create some sort of master cell bank or master bank. What it is from that original mycelia, you grow enough quantities, put it in a media or somewhere that the mycelia can actually do not grow too much. The metabolism is sort of low, but that mushroom stay alive for a long period of time, maybe a year. Doing this with less nutrient on liquid media, you can achieve this. If you put a mushroom, you grow this mycelia on plates, plates can dehydrate, and it lasts maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Then you have to put it in the fridge. In there, it would load the metabolism. It would not grow that much, but still that agar media will dehydrate. The other way to do it is in tubes, 5 ml tubes, and on slanted. So you grow the mycelia in there. After it grows, you put it in the fridge, and that can last for a few months, 4 or 5 months at the most, but dehydration will start to happen. Another method is the same agar, and you add glycerol on the top, or mineral oil. Again, it is a good way to do it. But I find out that in liquid media, the same liquid media that you use to grow mycelia, to inoculate grain, spawn, or whatever, but less nutrients. And then if you put this mycelia from the plates, the pure culture from that original mycelia that you buy, which is very activated, or the one that you have cloned yourself. What I mean clone yourself is that maybe you got it from in the wild, then you clone it in plate, and then from that plate, the mycelia is, let's just call it fresh and active. Then from there you put it in this liquid media, and it would last for a long period of time. I can show you that I have mycelia from like almost 2 years ago. Dump it in grain, and boom, it just grows as normal, no contamination.
Take a look at this shake flask. This has been inoculated with Pleurotus ostratus, or oyster mushrooms, on August 20th, 2021. And it's right now mid-June 2023. So again, it's a little bit, closer to 2 years, but this mycelia that's been inoculated in this liquid media is completely active. There's obviously a lot of growth on the surface and in the media. But what I'm trying to say here is that you can have this for a long periods of time, and from here you can go directly to inoculate this mycelia on grain. As you can see in this grain bag, this is corn, and this has been inoculated May 10. So it took pretty much almost 3 to 4 weeks to grow like this, and the mycelia is still active. Also, you can see that from this liquid media I took a little bit inoculated on plates. So you can see here, this is a plate of Pleurotus ostratus that I inoculated the 12th of May. And so it is one of the best way to save the mycelia, save that original mycelia. But from this container you can use this mycelia for multiples growth, and you still keep the original mushroom.
So in other words, instead of me buying mycelia often, every month, every 2 months, every time that I want to produce my mushrooms, I just go get those liquid culture that I have, and from there can actually go from there to plate, then from plate to grain, and then I grow the mushrooms. So I'm using only a few males from that liquid culture. There's mycelia in there. Another thing that I want to talk to you is like seeds and spores. So a lot of people think just, people that don't have the experience growing mushrooms, it's like, oh, you need the spores because those are the seeds. Yes, I know. Obviously, you would use spores to grow the mycelia, but if you have the mycelia, which is pretty much what you buy, it's just mycelia. From the mycelia, you can just continue growing your mushroom. Like I said, if you grow from that plate that they send you or that syringe in liquid culture, from there you go to plates and then more plates or more liquid media. Every time that you pass that, the actual mushrooms start losing the capability of producing good bacteriocarps. Okay, so let me show you how I do it, and from those plates how I cut mycelia and put it in my liquid media.
So for this part of the process, make sure you identify the flask that you want to have those liquid culture. In this case, I have shake flasks. These are sterile plastic, but you can have like can, the one that you use like for canning, like glass with the metal caps. That's perfectly fine. In that case, you need to autoclave or sterilize the can and also sterilize the media, or you can pour the media and then sterilize it. Like I said, in this case, I have sterile shake flasks, and what I did was only sterilizing the media. Both methods are right as long as you actually sterilize the media. At this part of the process, aseptic techniques are the key. This is the most important thing. That is why I sprayed with SporeClean the outer parts of the bottle. You can use SporeCleanse or any disinfectant, Lysol or alcohol. And then after that, I go to pour the liquid media into all my containers. After that, now we need to inoculate the mycelia from the plate into the container. So I use a scalpel, I spray it with disinfectant, and on top of that, I use my burner in order to make sure that that scalpel is completely free out of any microorganisms. So in other words, completely sterile. What I do here is I'm cutting the agar plate where the mycelia is in like very tiny parts or pieces, because what I want to do is to inoculate multiple tiny parts. So from each piece of mycelia, I would get a biomass of mycelia that's spread around the liquid media. Take a look how it looked like. Those pieces of mycelia would start growing and producing more softened mycelia that eventually you can use for syringes or any type of inoculation.
So another thing that I like about lion's mane is, check this out. So this plate, I've used it already. So you see, I just removed something to transfer to another one. Look at all these structures that it's producing. This mushroom is ready to go. Like it's on plate producing these structures, and I love it. It looks very, very good. So I'm going to transfer part of my mycelia, part of those structures to this liquid culture. And as you can see here, I just transferred this to a few weeks ago to grain, and that's why you see a hole in there. But the there's no contamination whatsoever, so you can keep using the plate as long as you don't have any contamination.
When the mycelia start growing on the liquid media, it would look just like this. Here I have all the master cell band created, so every time that I need mycelia, I just come here, aseptically remove the amount of mycelia that I want, and then inoculate either in plates, more liquid media, or directly to grain.